Hi! Today we are making a dashi broth with some soy noodles. It's a classic Japanese dish that I ate a lot of in my recent trip to Japan. It's normally eaten in train stations. It's a very popular before work or during lunchtime kind of meal, eaten by businessmen. It's eaten very quickly, served in about 2 minutes, and it's normally eaten at standing bars. So it's a dashi based broth, which is a very clean fish broth. It's not overwhelmingly fishy though, just nice and slightly savoury. We're going to perfume it with some spring onions and some seaweed. First we are going to wash and sanitise our hands, which we've done off camera in preparation. And then we're going to cook our Slendier noodles. We're using these in lieu of the more traditional soba or udon noodles. They're low calorie, low carbohydrate, and they're also gluten free.
And what does that taste like?
Slight soy flavour. They add a nice kind of savouriness to the soup. Blends really well. Then we're going to heat up our stock. We're going to add our seaweed to give it a chance to rehydrate, and we are going to season it with just a bit of soy sauce. And we've just got some spring onions. They're just cut into small rounds. So we're going to put a poached egg on top of this. I'm going to show you two ways of doing it. One is the more traditional, swirl a water bath and crack it directly into that. And then we've got a bit of an easier way using some cling wrap that we're going to form a little parcel and then drop that into some boiling water, and that will encase it and give you a nice end product. So we're just going to crack the egg. Crack the egg in, do a little bit of an inspection to make sure you've got no shells in there. We're going to parcel this up carefully. I should also mention this cling wrap has been oiled in advance to prevent sticking. I'm going to air this up, and I'm just going to pinch it slightly so no egg whites kind of at the top, and then I'm going to tie it off like so, and then we just pray that that stays intact. I think we're ready to start cooking. So we're going to start, we've got 2 pots of boiling water. This one also has a dash of vinegar in it, just about a tablespoon or so, and that will help set the egg whites. We're going to start by cooking our Slendier for 5 minutes. I'm using the spaghetti shape soy. Put that through, and I'll just use a spoon to stir that around. Yeah, you'll notice it's a very thin noodle, so it does collapse into the liquid quite quickly, but then it expands in the water. Next, we'll move on to our dashi. And we'll just pour, I'm going to estimate it. I'm cooking enough for 1 here. And I'm also going to put my seaweed in advance, and that will just give it a chance to rehydrate. Now we get to move on to the eggs. What I like to do is get the heat on as low as possible because we don't want too much movement. And we don't want it at a rolling boil because we don't want the water to break the egg up. We want it to stay in one nice, neat little parcel. Then with a slotted spoon, we are going to kind of swirl the water around. So you don't want a super strong whirlpool, just enough to keep the egg in the center and then directly into the middle. And then we're also going to take our neat little parcel here and drop that in next door. Depending on the size of your eggs and how cold they are when they go in will alter the cooking times. I like to go between the 3 and the 4 minute mark because it will continue to cook slightly as it sits in the broth. So the seaweed has fully rehydrated and our noodles are cooking away nicely. So the eggs are done now, so just with a slotted spoon, I'm going to pull them out. Right, so now our soup is nice and warm. It's a good chance to flavour it. There we go, just give it a little taste. I'd say that's perfect for me. Next, we're going to take our bowl out of the oven, which should be nice and warm. Yeah. We're going to take our nicely drained noodles. Lay them to the middle there. Bring this over here. Now I'm going to add the spring onions last because we don't really want them to cook too much. We want the spring onions to almost retain some of their crunch. So the later you can add them, the better. Ladle our broth over. As you can see, even just from that couple of handfuls of the seaweed, it has expanded greatly. And I might just pull that in. There we go. Lastly, we'll grab our egg. I'll put both in here, and the amount of eggs you put in is up to you. I normally go with one, but since we've got two here. And then we'll take our little parcel, gently, gently, gently. We'll just let that kind of fall. Beautiful. And to finish up, we will put some spring onions on top. And you can almost smell as soon as they hit, you get that like nice kind of oniony smell. There we go. And yeah, serve with chopsticks for the noodles and a spoon for the soup. And you're ready to go. No problem.